Hello, Doctor Who fans, and welcome to the second part of basically every Cyberman review, basically, and also every variant. And as you can see here, I'm back with the new Cybermen. As you can see here, I start off with the Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel lot. As you can see here, we've got two versions of the Cyber Controller, as well as the Cyberman right in the middle. Cyberman, obviously, just your standard 2006 Cyberman. But as you can see here, we have two versions of the Cyber Controller, one with blue eyes and one with yellow eyes. I think the main reason I think they did two versions was because in some light it looked yellow and in some light the eyes looked blue. So basically they did two versions to, level out the possibility of which variant is right. If you've got any more information on this, then please comment below. But I do know that the blue version that's seen here on the photo, I think is technically the most correct version, but it's also actually the most hard to get hold of version. There's actually more yellow-eyed versions of Cyber Controllers than there actually is of the correct version, which is a bit an irony really. I'm not entirely sure why this is, but I think this was a latter release. I'm not entirely sure. I think they both came out at a similar time, really. But all I know is this version is actually hard to get hold of than the yellowed-eyed version. As you can see here, the moulding of the Cyberman hands are actually different from Cyberman to Cyberman sometimes. As you can see here, they're basically like clenched fists nearly. But as you can see here, the hands are actually open on the Cyber Controller. So they're not actually used the same kind of mould, they've actually changed it slightly, which is good because you obviously want Cybermen to have all the same kind of hands, because that's obviously not necessarily the case. So it was good they did that kind of version. As you can see on the back of them, it just basically has all the figures that were available at that time that came out with this wave, such as Remote Control Daleks, Devine, and David 10th Doctrine Brown Coat. Other than that, there's three versions of the Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel Cybermen. Here we have the Army of Ghost / Doomsday Cybermen, and as you can see, they've done quite a variety. This is slightly unfair that I put this on here, the Cyberman with arm gun. Technically, if you look very closely in the Age of Steel episode, you will be able to see briefly that there are actually Cybermen with arm guns. It was only ever seen briefly, and I think they're only animated, but they were actually in there if you look very closely. But as you can see here, this is basically the same style as the normal Cybermen, but with slightly open fists, and as you can see here, with an arm gun on the side of it. Obviously it's quite accurate, it's only a slight detail, but again, version is a version. On the left here, we had the wrecked Cyberman. Now, I don't actually know where the idea of a wrecked Cyberman actually came from. It is very bizarre. It first came out in 2007, as you can see here, at Comic Con, limited edition to about 3,000. This is number 1583, not sure if you'll be able to see there on the sticker. And then it was released again in the B&M sets that came with Wrecked Cyberman in Series 2, the same as the Centre Cyberman we see here. And it also was released a further few more times. So basically its rarity went down quite a bit to quite common, because it appeared in the Series 2 figure set and the Army of Ghosts figure set. So the more figures released, the less valuable it becomes. And that's of any, no matter how rare it is to begin with. That includes the Planet of the Dalek Supreme Dalek. If it was released over and over again, it wouldn't be as rare as it is now, because it would have been, there's lots of them around. And obviously you can see here, close shot detail, I do have another version, as you can see there's quite a few about. It is very bizarre, as you can see here, they've done all the wrecked metal inside, and it has basically 3/4 of an arm, one full arm here, 3/4 of a leg, and about half a leg, third of a leg here. Upper chest pretty much okay. Again, it is very bizarre. Obviously, it moves like a normal Cyberman. I just don't actually know where the idea actually came from. It's just a very bizarre thing. I'm not complaining that it was made, but it's just very strange that something like this was actually made. Even though there was no actual episode, it was actually referred to specifically, but it was classed as Series 2 quite a few times. So, you know, if anyone can point out where this idea came from, then please let me know, because I've been wondering about this for ages, and I've never been able to find much information on it. And as you can see here, in the centre, we have the Cyberleader, which is a part of the B&M set that came out, I think, 2008 or 2009. Came with Sontaran, Savine, I think, possibly, and a few other figures as well. Obviously, this is the Subleader, which is quite difficult to get hold of now and there. It was a right pain to get hold of, this was. But I'm happy I've got it in the end. And as you can see here, we had the other version of the Cyberleader. As you can see here, the chest comes off, as you can see, with the removable bit. I'm not entirely sure why they did this for the Cyberleader, because this was seen on the Cyberman in the Age of Steel. So it was basically a Cyberleader based on a Cyberman in a completely different episode, released in the Dalek Battle Pack that was released in 2005. Then it was released again in 2006, 2007 with this Cyberman, which is technically a Subleader. It's very bizarre why they did it. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, it's good that it did Subleader, because it took quite, sometimes it takes quite a while for the figures to come out. But again, I'm not entirely sure why they did this. It's good that it's had a different pose. As you can see here, it has a one finger sticking out, or I suppose it looks like a gun from this angle technically. Again, it's good that they changed the moulding slightly of the hands, because again, you don't all the Cybermen move their hands a bit, on occasion sometimes. Obviously, clenched fist is like the most obviously common pose for the Cybermen figures. Basically, less Cyberleader figures were made in this set. That's why it's quite hard to get hold of. These are the only two Cyberleader figures ever made, both parts of the Series 2 range. As far as I can remember, they were actually only ever seen in Series 2, this design of Cyberleader. Well, it was briefly seen in the Pandorica Opens, as you remember, with the Alliance, with the Paradigm Daleks and Taran, and basically quite like a lot of other monsters and villains. But other than that, obviously you can see the packaging is slightly variant. These are the Doomsday Army Ghost Cybermen. Even though they are a bit confusing, only two Subleaders are made. I wouldn't recommend that you buy. Obviously, this I got when it first came out, but I won't recommend that you get an expensive Rex Cyberman, because they literally don't worth that much, because there's a lot of them about, and they've been released, I think, 4 times in total. So if something's been released that many times, it won't worth much because of it. Hence why I've ended with 2. Cyberman with arm gun, quite difficult to get hold of, because obviously it's a more obscure variant. So I recommend you get it, and I do like the Cyberleader. And obviously, I recommend you get it, because it's quite a pain to get hold of. Here we have the last Cyberleader, and also the last collect and build Cyber Controller figure. As you can see, it pretty much comes with its pelvis and its left arm. And this is, I think, definitely one of my favourite Cyberleaders. Mainly being because of the actual Cyberleader, how it looks. It looks like a Cyber Controller, but it also reminds me of the Revenge Cyberleader a bit, with the whole section being black. And as you can see, it is really, really good detail. Comes in the Cyberman eye kind of packaging in the back. Other than that, it's very good detail. The moulding is slightly different on the hands, completely more Cyber Controller than it is Cyberman. Other than that, I love the detail on it. And it's one of my favourite designs, I think, for a Cyberleader. And I wish they actually brought this one back more times than they actually did. It only ever made 2 appearances. The Next Doctor, as you can see here, and the Good Man Goes to War. So I think they should do a new Cyberleader with a new style Cyberman, actually. We've had quite a few Cyberman episodes. Nightmare in Silver, Hellbent, and the season finale of season 10. So, and no Cyberleader. So it'll be interesting for that to happen. But other than that, it is a very good Cyberleader figure. And it is definitely one of my favourite designs of Cybermen. Here we have the Pandorica Opens figures. And as you can see here, there are 3 different Pandorica figures. We have the Pandorica Guard with the being headless here, with the skull inside. We have the Stonehenge Cyberman here, and we also have the other version, the Cyberman Guard. So, as you can see here, I've decided to put this side by side. The arm, as you can see, is slightly different. Actually no, slightly similar, because obviously, as you can see, the bent bit is right there, and it's also the same there. So you can tell they use the same molding for the arm as well as the gun being there. Obviously, there's a bit more rust effect on this one. Obviously, you see a bit more brown, whilst this one is still mostly silver and like dark grey. So more rust on this one. As you can see, this one becomes headless, whilst this one is actually fixed. The strange thing is, this actually came as part of the a set of 6 audio Doctor Who figures that collect and build a Pandorica, as you can see at the top. Whilst this one here, with the fixed sword in its chest and a fixed head, actually came in this. It's a plastic bag. This originally came in the first release of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS. Actually, it was actually exclusive by Argos. If you got it from Argos, they had this figure exclusive to them. They put it in with the TARDIS set, so it was only exclusive. You could only buy it if you bought the TARDIS. Well, I wanted the TARDIS anyway, so I got the free Cyberman. So I made sure that I got it from Argos. I'm not sure how hard this version is to get hold of. I think there might be quite a few around. The Film Planet probably managed to get the rest, or BBC Shop. But as you can see here, there's 2 versions of the Underhinged Guard: fixed head and sword fixed versions. As you can see, the bit of more of a difference here, that the head is open. I'm not sure if that closed or not. I've never tried because I've only got the one. And obviously you can't take this because it is fixed. But other than that, the details pretty much very similar. Obviously, you know, there's 2 versions, and if you like collecting lots of different versions of Cybermen, then I'd recommend you get them both, especially that both come with the iron gun on the side. The other Pandorica Opens figure is the Underhinged Cyberman, which is actually seen in the Big Bang after the obviously after the Pandorica Opens. This was seen with 2 stone Daleks and a Roman soldier. Also, they also did those as well. There's an Unhinged set. The Unhinged Dalek was quite cheap for a period of time. You can get it for like, I think 99 pence at one point or something like that. Can't actually remember. And obviously the detail is very good. It has, as you can see here, it has a bit of a rough effect as well. So I'm glad they just didn't spray paint it in a stone colour, because I would have been quite disappointed in that. And that is the same with the Unhinged Dalek and the Underhinged Roman soldier. Obviously, you can see obviously the hand is slightly different, because obviously they've used a different mould, because it's bent inside. Whilst the hand is same, as well as the Cyberman gun being on the same side, which means obviously different version. But it's good that they did a rough look as well, as you can see from the side as well. Different mould, but easy to get hold of. Obviously on the back it comes with all the other figures to get hold of, as well as the, as you can see here, the Unhinged Roman Auton. Obviously it's a good range, and it was good they did these variants as well. Obviously they've done a lot less variants lately. Well, technically no, they've done a lot of versions of the 12th Doctor and Missy lately, so that's something if you love the 12th Doctor and Missy. But as you can see, they've done a few versions, and obviously this version I think is better because it's got more of a rough look than this one. Even though this one does have a lost head, which I'm not sure if that's a plus or a negative. Now, I have had a few questions about this Cyberman in the past, and well, here it is, the Series 6 Cyberman, seen in A Good Man Goes to War. As you can see here, it does not come with the Cyber Industries logo. It actually has the just a circular chest in the middle. So obviously it's actually a more sought after variant, because this is actually the only time this Cyberman was actually made like this without its rough look. And obviously it comes with a Cyberman gun as well. As you can see, it's obviously not completely black, not the original version. Obviously it's been damaged a bit. It also comes with the flesh and a flesh mask. I don't actually understand why the flesh and mask with a Cyberman. It doesn't really make any sense, especially that a Cyberman doesn't really have much of a face if you take a look at it. But it's a very good Cyberman, and obviously it's very hard to get hold of. Only a few, not necessarily a few ever made, but less of these ones were made. I think they're quite easy to get hold of in America. I think they were more of a US release, but they were released in this country as well. More hard to get hold of. I mean, well done if you got it, and if you do have it, keep it in the packaging, because it does worth quite a bit, and they are really hard to get hold of. As you can see here, with the detail here, it's not got the Star Wars Industry logo. Obviously on the back it just shows you what you can get. Obviously there's only 5 figures part of this wave, and obviously there's been a few. They've got the more slightly kind of clenched fist kind of effect. As you can see here, it has been dulled a bit, but that was just a factory effect. It must have missed out a bit of silver on there. But I suppose there's nothing I can do really because it's sealed in its packaging still. But other than that, it's very good Cyberman, and obviously the only version of the Cyber Legion Cyberman actually ever made. And it's a shame they never did more of them, or they actually had them around for much longer. Especially we had the new Cybermen appear in 2013, which I really hope that they do a 5-inch version soon. So BBC, if you're listening, do one because it will be very popular. Trust me. Now on to the closing time Cybermen. And as you can see, I've done a video of this in the past, but this is a video of all the Cybermen figures ever made, so I had to include them anyway. Now as you can see, there is obviously 4 types of Cybermen here. Well, obviously technically 5. This is a loose one for more close-up of detail. And there's technically 3 versions. We got face damage, we have chest damage, and we have limb damage. This one in the background is also limb damage, but this one comes with the flesh mask. And also it does not come with the open Cyberman head. So there is a slightly different version of it, but not necessarily a variation of the actual Cyberman itself. Just what accessories it comes with. Again, I don't know why the flesh mask comes with some and not the others. But overall, there's obviously quite a variety. Obviously you can see it has obviously the limb damage on the side, the chest pieces here, whilst obviously the chest damage obviously technically has the chest damage on the side. And the face damage you can't really see that much, but if you look very closely, then you'll probably be able to see it only very slight though. And also it's mostly technically like side damage as well, because it's the only Cyberman that comes with that, whilst obviously the others don't. It's only technically slight variations. But the only reason they did this was because they bought the rights to do so many waves of figures, and they pretty much had no idea what to do. And because they had to, use the license somehow, what they did was they made lots of variations of figures. Hence why we see lots of versions of the 11th Doctor, the Silence, and the Corroded Cyberman. Because they didn't know what to do with the license, they made variants. That's basically what they do. So as you can see here, 2 Cybermen, Peg Doll, 11th Doctor with beard. Obviously we've had Ganga Doctor, we've had Flesh Doctor, Doctor with beard, Doctor in Straitjacket, etc, etc. In this review of and obviously viewing of my Cyberman collection, I did not include the Cyberman woman from Torchwood or the Cybermats that came separately, because obviously this is a Cybermen, even though they are technically a part of them. I thought I'll just keep to the Cyberman this time. Cyberman woman is technically Torchwood, so get to Doctor Who. And Cybermats, basically there's just about 3 different versions of Cybermat, and there's about I think it's 24 in the pack. Pretty easy to get hold of, so there's not much actually to look at. I think you've seen them before. You can get them for quite cheap on eBay actually. I think it's the apart from Laszlo from Series 3, it's pretty much one of the cheapest Doctor Who figures to get hold of. The Cybermats, I think you can get them for like £4. But apart from that, as you can see here, 3 different versions of the Corroded Cyberman. Some come with shock hands and some don't. Technically this one did, but I took them off because they don't actually fit very well. They're actually quite poor quality. Again, they're just like a lot more of a side attraction, like an accessory. But overall, they're not too bad. I only recommend getting, well, I suppose if you like collecting variants, get them all. But I only recommend getting one if you don't really mind. But overall, they're not too bad. So this is it. This brings us to the end of every Cyberman figure ever made over the last 11 years. And obviously, you've now seen them all. You now know what to collect. So if you want to try and aim for every Cyberman ever made, then definitely good luck. It is quite difficult, especially the harder ones to get hold of, especially the classics. And if you have any questions, then please comment below. I wish you all the best, and please like this video and obviously share it around as much as possible. And I would like your thoughts on anything at all. I don't mind. Obviously, comment below. It's important to know, obviously, to keep doing these videos. Obviously, it does take up quite a bit of time, but I think it's definitely worth it. And I hope you enjoyed it, especially to see that, obviously, it is possible to get every Cyberman figure ever made, even if it does take quite a long time. Obviously, when this video was made, this was every Cyberman figure ever made, so hopefully we might see some new ones coming out in the near future. There are rumours that there might, so we'll keep watching. So keep following the Who page on G+, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thank you very much, and goodbye.